I haven't said anything. It's been like 3 minutes. I'm learning how to use this. I don't know why it won't. Anyway. Sneaky. What does this do? Nothing. What about this? Nothing. A lot of the features don't work with streaming. They only work in the app, and the app doesn't work with streaming. More twisted trees. This is just my first time. Maybe I can figure it out. If I had anything to say today about my current state, it would be about it would be about health and the difficulty of so there's a different mode I'm going to switch it into. Okay. This is the one that's supposed to keep it horizontally level. So maybe, it still moves a lot as I walk, but maybe it's less dizzying. Although it's not the recommended setting for first person vlogging. I saw that guy in the parking lot. I have this purpose to, there's that word again, to describe how I am doing. But it gets old. The only point that I wanted to make today is that it's hard to understand complex systems. Like, I'm using a new thing and I read the instructions beforehand, but it's not behaving as I expected. There's a lot of different possible reasons that I'll have to go through tediously, one by one, to try to figure that out. And that's an analogy. I mean, I do have to do that. That's reality. But it's an analogy in this example for my health because it's so frustrating when I tried really hard for a few days to have specific motivation, goals. This thing is has a mind of its own. I'm gonna switch back to a different mode. So a lot more wobbly, but it won't do that thing anymore. I'm just gonna check and see. Oh, no. I'm gonna throw away some garbage and check and see if the book I put in is still there. Hasn't even been a week, so I expect it's still there. In my experience, adding medication into life increases the number of variables to try to figure stuff out. So, we'll check on this book. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's still there. I'll keep checking. I don't think people take very many books because this one is always full. It does seem like a weird place to pick up a book on a bike path. So, for the last 2 days, I've felt worse. So I ask myself, why? One potential answer is I was pushing myself and more motivated. I did more physical activity a few days ago when I discovered this trail. Like I guess I didn't realize, but I overdid it. And then maybe when I got back, I didn't take the proper heat and ice or whatever precautions. But I mean, the truth is, I don't know, and I don't think it's possible to know. And that makes this physical health journey really difficult. And I try to go to different sources for help. And it's too many variables. And most help is a matter of, well, here's 6 steps that might produce help. And some of them are either painful or annoying, or you're going to meet resistance on. And I'm not just talking about your body, healing, but the system is going to give you resistance. So you've got these 6, let's say there are these 6 steps you have to do before you get to maybe help at the end. Here's something we want to try. Here's 6 steps to get there. And you're going to be met with institutional resistance. So you got to be really motivated. You got to do it. You got to stick to it. You got to have a positive attitude. Meanwhile, you're in the worst pain of your life. That's the kind of help that's available. I came here to get away from my home because I was falling through the cracks. And it hasn't been. It has not led to the level of help that I came here for. It's kind of like the lesson there, which is, well, there's a cliche about the devil you know. Right, now I'm gonna switch back to that other one. Sorry. So far what doesn't work is, even with Bluetooth, the Zoom isn't working. Okay, because I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that I'm on YouTube. Did I say YouTube? I said Bluetooth. Such nonsense words. So external forces, factors, deadlines, facts are going to force me to change my location. And so the last few days were tests to see, can I just knuckle under and push through? And I can't. I guess in the good sense, it tells me what I already know, which is my invisible illness is not made up. But so I would like when it drifts into some weird, oh, you don't know what's going on, but I would like a reset button that just brings it back to a center. Because for some reason, no matter what setting it's in, it has a tendency to drift. So then I have to start twisting my wrist. Oh, there's somebody's expensive ear pod thingy. Whoops, wrong way. That makes me think about tech garbage. And I saw someone somewhere post about their community that upcycles, refurbishes things, so you don't have to throw stuff away and increase the waste in the world, and you don't have to buy junk. You can start out at your upcycle center and find something that's been saved from the refuse pile. um, think of it as like a curated and more careful Goodwill or thrift store, where it has a staff and people are having fun connecting people with the things that they need and saving stuff, fixing stuff. And I read that and I feel happy and sad. Someone is trailering their golf cart to the path. Guess whatever makes you happy. Luxury trail tourism. I'm hanging around the parking lot because the other day I overdid it and I feel bad. I feel worse since then. So I'm getting at, which is when you do something that's healthy for you, you feel worse. So like the day of, I felt good. The evening after, I felt good. And I can't even remember whether I did any whether I did any By the way, the last time I did this, I had a no gimbal, but I had a microphone. I can't even remember whether I did any. I think I did some heat, but not much, or maybe I didn't do any because I was lying down with the animals and I didn't want to move. If that's the case, then there may be a lesson there. Like I said, there's so many variables that makes it really hard. But I mean, giving up isn't an option because I'm a living mechanical being. So figuring out how to
So I drink a. I'll say it.
that man just said that aluminum cans are linked to Alzheimer's. All I can say to that is that there are lots of variables to figure out health, and it's confusing, frustrating. And I understand the motivation. I understand the motivation to try to figure things out and to want them to be simple. Isn't that interesting? Good luck, bicyclists in his path. I keep doing the opposite that I want with the joystick, which happens when I'm playing games too. Oh, there they are going off-road to let a jogger pass. Just such an interesting world on the trail. Ooh, there's that stink again. So bad. The thing about that stink, that particular stink, it's rotting nature, rotting animal matter, most likely. So, not necessarily a sign of pollution. Could be a sign of just the circle of life. God, that again. I wonder if, like on games, I wonder if I can switch what up and down mean on the joystick, or whether I can just learn how to do it. But the big problem with this current downturn after an upturn, after an attempt at pushing myself, the big problem is that I have mandatory, as I said, external deadlines in the real world. So I guess everything's an experiment, everything's practice. I'm walking a trail, and someone came and went, but which is fine. Uh, so I'm upset because I've again proven that I can't push through. I can't force myself to just get her done. I will collapse. So I don't know what that means for the next step. The thing I'm learning about this gimbal is that it removes some motions, but introduces others. And it's electronic. Like, I think not weirdly, I think I would do better with an all physical one. What does that mean? Like, where it's just using counterweights and causing the thingy to float. And because I think in that situation, I think it's easier to learn because we have physics knowledge inherent in our bodies. So it's easier to learn which motions to use to achieve what we want. But the electronic gimbal has an extra layer of, let's just say, sophistication or complication. So it's deciding what it thinks we want, and so therefore I have to learn how to use it. And it's more than physics. I think it's doing the opposite. Like, I'm moving my hand in a opposite way because I think, well, if it were physical, this is how I would get it to do the thing I wanted to do. But the electronic is doing the opposite. So, and I guess that makes sense on a certain level because it's counterbalancing my movements. Sophisticated systems are harder to learn and understand. I have not been able to learn or understand the causes and treatments for my back pain. And I don't have a lot of hope in the attempts that are ongoing, the medical ones, because they require a level of consistent commitment for me that isn't possible because of my ailment. I notice this again and again in medical, in the medical system, that needing help, there's this meta level of advocacy that's required to attain the help that you need. And especially in our system, there are unnecessary layers of complexity. So, well, unnecessary if, except for the profits. So I'm not doing well enough to fight to get better. I found, some nice people, but even they are still motivated by, they're still successfully navigating our system, which means that they speak a different language than I do. They've got certain practices that don't help me. Well, the battery is still really full, so I learned that. And I'll rewatch this and see how nauseatingly the movement is, and the sound, to decide whether or not I want to go back to microphone. When I wore the microphone, there was a consistent level of volume on me, but there was very little outside nature noise, no birds, so that's one of the reasons for being here. So I just don't think I have the time and stamina to get help where I am currently. The last step, the next step on my multi-step journey to getting any help is, like, I have to request something that they'll put me off for a month or two, but then if I want to get it faster, I have to call like every day, and I'm not going to be here in a month or two. So, maybe if that process had started in December, then I'd be receiving relief now, but it didn't. So I just think it's time for me to go. But unfortunately, I've learned I'm not going to be any better when I get home. Why should I be? Nothing has changed. And then, you know, I'm supposed to be on pills to be happier. But I'm like, I kind of don't get it, because if you wake up in excruciating pain, why would you be happy? If you make up a plan for your future and you are physically unable to carry out that plan without just exhaustion, collapse, why would you be happy? I don't understand myself. I mean, yeah, I'm depressed at this circumstance. But for me, I don't think committing to another long road in the US medical system is going to lead to, I mean, it is the best course for me to get out of the current depression. I think the best course is to change what I can control, which is, limited by my physical limitations and stamina. And to continue the super duper frustrating long path of seeking medical care, but knowing that positive results could be months away. So yeah, I do feel like crying. And if I had to say why, it's physical pain without hope for relief anytime soon. I don't think that's some sort of irrational mental illness. Okay, I'm going to end this because I just realized I'm going to do some practicing with the gimbal that isn't on stream, just to see what happens. So, bye. This was a not very cheerful stream. This is my life as I'm sharing it. Toodaloo. Oh, I wonder if, so supposedly it's connected by Bluetooth. If I press the stop recording button, will that, hold on. That did something to the volume. Bye.